Latest word also from National Press Services in Washington, D.C.
We were damn lucky to get away at all.
It's not true.
Man, you're really crazy. You know that?
We're all in danger.
If I were surrounded by 6 or 8 of these things, would I stand a chance with them?
We've had enough of this nonsense.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Check the Candy. We got a brand new segment for you, all right? It's me and Taylor here. Taylor, say what up.
What up?
Right here, we have a brand new segment that we're starting. This is the very first episode of it. It's called Unwrapped, all right? And this segment is dedicated to all things unknown. We're talking folklore, conspiracy theories, local legends, unsolved mysteries, ghost stories, paranormal, cryptozoology, UFOs. We're talking everything, man. Anything and everything unknown. And that's what we're dedicating it to. So we're veering off a little bit from just horror movies, and we're kind of combining this idea that people do want to hear things like this as well. And it's going to be super interesting. Me and Taylor are both into this kind of stuff. And we're excited to talk about it. And we're going to build some fucking drinks. And we're going to get this shit going.
Yes. We are definitely going to be drinking through this segment. So
yeah. This is sort of an after dark segment,
Yeah. Viewers beware.
Yeah. For all you weirdos out there. Oh, that shit rhymed. That should be our tagline right there. Viewers beware for all you weirdos out there. Fuck
there
yeah.
You go.
That's
that
how
sounded
we roll. Right on the fly.
Nice.
Hey, toast, bro. Let's do a
Super
little
sexy.
cheers.
Cheers.
Tink.
Oh, wrong one. There we go. Okay. So pretty much he summed it up. What we're going to do is we're going to tell each other stories that neither of us have heard. Right. Possibly throughout this, we're going to hear the same thing, but one or the other might have a bit more information. And so pretty much all it is we're down to do this, and we're excited, and we can't wait. So
yeah, man, it's and it's all kind of on the fly. This isn't stuff that we're heavily researching. It's stuff that we're just interested in, and when we it's going to be kind of blind reactions to it, to each other's stories. And yeah, I'm excited for this segment, man, because me and you have had talks for hours off air about this kind of stuff, where we've just gotten hammered and talking about fucking aliens or Bigfoot or ghost stories, all that type of shit. So we were like, hey, we might as well press record on this shit, because I think other people are interested as well.
Oh, definitely.
So it's very candid and very kind of on the fly, but wherever this segment takes us is where we're gonna go. There's no limits, you know what I'm saying? I have more of like a phenomenon type thing. And this was really interesting to me. I've never heard about this before. And the story I read it started because I read this story from a SAR, which is a search and rescue ranger, for like national parks and forests in America. That's what they're called, like SAR.
They go out and find people who are lost and shit.
Right, because the national parks are just fucking massive, right? So the initial story I read was from this guy's story, and then I started to research it and kind of dive into this weird. You can't even call it an urban legend or a phenomenon. Like, it straight up happens, and this guy's story like kind of captured me. That's why I kind of want to talk about his. And it's very simple. So, but I think there's a lot to talk about it. So it's not like necessarily like a big story like yours, but it's interesting, man. And I didn't know anything about this, but there was this so what I read is he's a national parks, search and rescue ranger, and they go out and they do everything from missing persons to people that are injured to fucking, people fucking with the trails in national forests and stuff like that, right? But these parks are huge, man. I mean, there's hundreds of miles of forest in these national parks. And I don't know the specific park that this guy was located in. But what he talked about was he had many stories. This guy blogs about his stories. And I found a lot of other stories that coincide with his that kind of backed his up a little bit, because I wanted to make sure it wasn't just because the story itself isn't that cool, but if you line it up with all the other shit, pretty weird. This guy, and when he first started, was in the forest, and they were probably 30-40 miles in. Now that's far. That's really far to travel through a forest, for one thing. It's
Yeah,
not like,
yeah, for sure.
you know what I mean? Sometimes these guys would be hiking, depending on what the situation was. Camping out there. Sometimes it was taking vehicles, depending on where they were going, all that kind of stuff. But one day they were out there, broad daylight, and he came across a staircase.
In the woods?
Yep, not a foundation of a house, not an old rotted down house with a staircase still standing, nothing like that. Just a staircase.
Were they wooden or concrete? What did he say?
He didn't say. He just said there was a staircase. That was like, you would think, like if you took your house and you had your stairs, right, going up to your second floor, that staircase, that type of staircase, but just everything else gone, nothing else there.
Okay.
Just in the woods, randomly. And he was like, he asked, he was probably with 4 or 5 other rangers. And he didn't specify the job they were going to do, but I don't think it was anything of significance. It was just maybe going to clean up a trail or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, what the fuck? He's like, this is odd. Like, there's no, in those forests, I mean, there's, like I said, there's hundreds of miles of stuff. So, I mean, in his mind, he was like, oh, maybe there was a house out here at one point. But then he kind of started to think about it, and he was like, I mean, 40 miles into the woods in this national park. I mean, how old would this house have to be for them to not come and demolish all of it? And just, why would you come out, demolish everything and not a staircase, right?
Yeah,
there's no other remnants of a foundation or anything. He's like, so that doesn't make sense. So he turned to his coworkers and he was like, what's up with this staircase? And they were like, I don't know, just keep walking. And he's like, well, what do you mean? They're like, don't go near it, just keep walking. He was like, okay, that's kind of weird. And so they kept walking, finished whatever they were doing, and he asked them back at their offices. He was like, what was up with that staircase? And they were like, we don't talk about it. And they were like, he was like, well, have you seen it before? Like, was there a house out there? And they were like, no, there's no houses out here. They were like, are you kidding me? 40 miles into the wilderness, like you think there's just a house randomly? It's like this woods has been covered by forest. This land has been covered by forest for hundreds of years. It's not like there was a town out here or even close to a town.
And where did this happen?
He didn't specify. Now he has plenty of stories, like a blog. So I'm sure if I went back and read the beginnings of his stories that I would find out where he worked and stuff like that. But he kept everything pretty. He didn't want any, he didn't want any public, like, he didn't want to put he was getting pretty big. His blog was getting pretty big. So like, he didn't want people to like go to this place just to search for this thing.
Okay.
But
was it like, did he say like how it was standing? Like
it was just straight up, like no turns, nothing, just straight up, like metal staircase, metal.
But they had to have, okay, go ahead.
Like metal on each side too. Like not even like no beams, no nothing. Just like it was almost like a staircase was built just to be a staircase in the woods. Nothing else around it. So I understand where you're coming from, because you're like, hey, well, if this was a foundation, you're thinking from the the point of like, if there was an old house or a foundation, there would have to be some sort of beams or something
Yeah.
holding it up, right?
Yeah.
Nothing. Now, not that like nothing that like defied physics. It wasn't like it was just stairs and nothing holding it up, and it was this bad miracle. Nope. Love Nope. Love Nope. Great movie.
Love Nope. Great movie.
Yeah, great movie. But it was like it was just it had like kind of partial walls on each side, and it was just held up. He didn't really think about how it was being held up. He just noticed there was stairs with no foundation, nothing, just in the middle of the woods.
Okay.
And when they, like I said, when he asked them, they were like, "Don't worry about it. There wasn't a house there. There's not a house there." And he was just like, "Have you guys? I mean, what's up with this thing? Like, what have you got? You guys have just never looked into it?" And they were like, "We've never seen it."
What?
And he was like, "Well, what the fuck? Like, why am I the only one tweaking out about this? You just randomly we just randomly found this staircase in the, however many years this has been a national park, which all national parks are very old. Not one person has stumbled upon this staircase." And they were like, "Oh, we've stumbled upon staircases before, just not this particular one."
Oh, so it moves. Does it
Nope.
move?
No. He was like, "Well, I don't understand. There's other staircases?" And they were like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Are they just everywhere?" And he's like, they're like, "Not all the time." Very vague about it. And he started to do some research, and he started to ask around, different, he worked different shifts with different people. Everyone said the same thing. He was like one of the newer members there. No one would talk about it. And basically, there's just this phenomenon of in a written code between park rangers and search and rescue people. They see staircases in the middle of the woods leading to nothing everywhere, all over
They don't
America.
talk about it.
And they don't, and it's a written thing. Like, you get used to it. Like, now,
Wait, all over America?
all the national forests and state parks, like, people go into the woods, and places they've been before, there will just be a staircase.
No fucking way. I'm gonna go talk to some people.
Yeah, and no one will talk about it. Like, it's a weird unwritten rule that, like, you do not speak of these things, and you don't go fucking near them. You sure as hell don't climb them. And I was
what who said you don't climb them? Like,
this is so this guy didn't specifically say that, but I was like, I got to deep dive more into this, because like, this might just be one story like yours where some guy went in, they found a weird staircase, no one ever talked about it again, right? But then I started to deep dive a little bit, and I was like, this is like a thing. Like, people talk about this. I had no idea. There's a thing, but where people go into the woods, deep into the woods. It's never like close, at least 10, 15 miles in, where people will just find random staircases.
You know what it is? It's the Truman Show, man. It's people's way out of getting out of the fucking Truman
So this
Show.
is where it gets weird. The other stories I read were of people who have climbed. That's why they think there are so many missing person cases in national parks. Like, I say they, I don't know who they is, right? But I'm saying
bears. You got bears. You got fucking.
You got shit.
What's those moose? Moose-eye. You got penguins.
Oh, you got weird shit, and people just get hurt, injured. Like, he told another story, the same guy on his blog, where a 9-year-old girl got impaled on an old tree trunk. She fell off like a little cliff, like not even that far down, but like there was a jagged old tree trunk. Fucking died on it.
Oh, that's terrible. I hate to hear that.
He has all these stories of like things he comes across, but this is his most famous one of like finding this staircase and then everyone being like, "Shut up." Like,
so he's like the only person in America that was like, "All right, I work in a national park, but I'm going to start blogging about this fucking staircase."
No, that's what was weird. I deep dived and there's way more stories, bro. This is like a thing.
No way.
Oh yeah, this is a thing.
This is crazy.
Dude, it's wild. And like people have talked about like climbing them and then just feeling unnerved and disoriented, passing out after they climbed it. Some people, have the theory that it's like a door to another dimension or time travel, like portals. Stories of people seeing this staircase and then being alone on hikes, seeing the staircase, taking pictures of it. The picture's not there. Going back to bring people back to where it was, it's gone. Others of people seeing the staircase, going back, going to another spot, seeing the same damn staircase and not the same staircase. See, the encounters are different staircases. Some of them are anywhere from regular staircases to iron staircases to staircases made of metal that are like spiral, like that would lead up to like, you know what I mean? Like a penthouse style.
Yeah.
Everywhere from being
like
rusted.
A really nice library or something.
Yeah. From being rusted to brand new looking.
So what you're describing to me sounds like Suicide Forest. You ever heard of that?
Oh yeah.
So it's like people will envision different things out in Suicide Forest,
and there's people hanging all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But this is a national park all over the U.S., correct? Or is it?
Yeah,
everywhere?
I'm talking like it's a thing. From what this guy said, it's a thing between specifically between search and rescue workers of these national forests that they don't talk about it. Like you see the staircase and you fucking keep going, bro. Dude, I'm telling you, it's super weird.
How do you just keep going?
I know.
Not talk about this.
Here's the thing, because people have been daring enough to climb the stairs, and if you coincide that with the amount of people that have gone missing in national forests, never seen again, you're right. To the debunking rule, you have bears, you have predators out there. I understand that, depending on where you are in America. But
yeah, Moosei is out there.
So you got a lot of other folklore shit, Wendigo, you got all that shit. But like, this is a weird one where like it's an unwritten thing that like if you're a search and rescue park ranger, like you've probably, if you've worked long enough, have seen one of these staircases and enough to just keep going.
What?
Yeah, it's like this really weird thing, dude. I had never heard about it. And like one other guy that I read had a story. Now, granted, this was on Creepypasta, so like a lot of those members make up stories to keep the lore going, that kind of stuff. But like, one of their stories was a guy seeing it, climbing it, and then just waking up in his cabin that he rented. Be like just waking up disoriented, like, oh, I must have like hiked back and been so exhausted that I just passed out, but still having their boots on full of mud, and then seeing this shadow figure with like vines coming out of them and like stuff like that, like all this really weird stuff. And like I said, like people taking pictures and then the picture just not being there or being blurry. Like a lot of the people think it's like time travel, like it's a portal to somewhere else or to go back in time, like these weird pockets in the earth that will allow you to.
Maybe you're like the chosen, like you're like the chosen few if you see that shit,
right.
Like.
And like it's like a phenomenon. Like people see this, and I had no idea. Like so, I started. There's
no way. I only dove into like a few stories, but they were all the same thing. Like it was seeing a staircase, and all different staircases. No one had it wasn't like it was the same staircase for everyone, but it was staircases in the middle of the woods, and it's always deep in. It's never like you hike an hour into the woods and see something. It's you got to go fucking deep in. But anybody who goes that deep will fucking usually comes out seeing one of these things. And I'm like, that's fucking weird, man. And for it to be the thing that creeped me out was like the search and rescue, like these people that spend a lot of time in those woods. And all of them like have this unwritten thing where like, yeah, that's the staircase. Keep fucking moving.
Like I'm sure we'll see another one. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this
Just a
weird thing. And
nonchalant, like
yeah, and you just
it.
leave it alone. You leave it
Yeah, just
alone.
don't talk about it. We're good. Like that's
So
fucked up, dude. That's weird.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. People have completely different stories when they see them. But the thing that is consistent is that it's a staircase and there's no foundation around. It's not like it's a house that was knocked down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing around these things. And some of them look brand new, man. Like they were just put there randomly.
How many encounters did you come like
I only
across?
came across 3 or 4 that I read about.
And that they seem legit. Like this was like
I mean, I don't know how legit they would seem. Like that, you know what I mean? Like it's such a weird story. Like if I just saw that one story and I just kept scrolling, I would have been like, "Oh, that's a weird story, whatever." Not really much to talk about there. But the fact that I found a few and that it was this consistent thing between these park rangers was the thing that caught my eye. I was like,
maybe
that's
maybe
interesting that it's kind of this unwritten rule.
maybe it's like a like one of them things like Skinwalker Ranch. You don't really hear that much about that, but
Right.
like it's a fucking thing that's happening that people aren't talking about. And it's kind of like what this dude's saying is that we just they're saying pass it up, don't even fucking
Yeah.
look at it, don't
Yeah,
just walk by it.
there's so many weird things that go on at Skinwalker Ranch that like everybody who goes like there's something weird, right?
Except for Joe Rogan, he didn't fucking.
He wasn't buying that one, no. And I don't know if many people would buy this, but it's the sense that you have to like kind of research it to understand. Like it's a really weird phenomenon, dude. It's like but no one's really experienced the same thing, you know. No one's
Yeah,
experienced like the same staircase and shit, and not at the same place. That's what's weird. It's not like this guy came on that specific spot and saw this one staircase. It's like when you go into like a somewhere that's haunted, you know what I mean? And everybody's like, oh, there's been a billion people that have traveled here because this place is so haunted, So
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's, out of 100 people that have gone there, 50 of them say, "Oh, I got cold sweats and had to leave." And then the other half is like, "I had to go outside and throw up." And like, you know what I mean? Like at that one place. Cause like
Yeah.
then that's weird because it's like has to do with nerves. When you've heard about a place and go see something, your nerves are already kind of acting up and like you're gonna be in that fight or flight mode anyway. So like those stories are still awesome to read about, but they're a little less interesting to me. When you have one that's like the same consistent story, but it's all different, like a encounters, that's weird.
That is weird. That is very weird because and I want to tell you a story I had in the woods. Okay, I didn't see a fucking staircase, but I used to go hiking a lot. I used to go mountain biking a fucking lot.
Right.
So whenever I went and hiked, I would go out to these. We're in the foothills of Tennessee. You ever churn butter?
Oh, I actually have churned butter. Yeah.
Oh, good, good. You can come down here and we'll,
I
we'll
actually
we'll
have. Yeah.
churn butter together.
I
But
actually have.
I'm in the foothills of Tennessee, so we have a lot of fucking wilderness, just like Maine does.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
I was gonna say you're preaching to the choir, bro.
Yeah, it's a lot. But I was out hiking one day, and this wasn't a trail. Okay, there was no trail. Period. I made my own fucking trail. Um, and I had been working on this trail for a while. I had no idea where I was going. I was just hiking, and every week or so I would go down there and I would just cut down and keep going and just till I found something or whatever. Well, I was out there and you step over shit. You step over. All right.
Right.
For one, I stepped over a log. And whenever I stepped over the log, I looked down and there was a fucking copperhead sitting right there, dude.
Oh
Rattlesnake
shit.
copperhead. I think it was a copperhead. Curled up in a little ball. He never moved, but it scared the fucking shit out of me. Okay.
Oh, I
So
bet.
there's an example of stepping over something. So I stepped over a log, seen that, jumped, whatever. But I was going on and I was walking up the hill, right? I was going up the hill. There's a bunch of rocks, trees, and shit. And there's kind of like these boulders, but they're not boulders. They're just big rocks that you would step on. And when I was walking up them, I stepped on one and my foot went through it.
Whoa.
It was a rock. It was a rock, dude. Like
Whoa.
it was a fucking rock, man. And my foot went through it. And this was right when the Truman Show came out. Like it was big. And
Right.
I stepped on this bitch and my foot went through it. It was styrofoam, bro. The entire fucking thing was styrofoam. I stepped on the next one, it was styrofoam. From there on up until I think it was about 4 or 5 of them that I counted. And then I stepped on one that was real, but it was styrofoam in the middle of the fucking woods. That wasn't a fucking trail. There was
Right.
nothing leading to it. What the fuck was that there for? That
Yeah,
is
that's
stumped. That has literally stumped me my entire life. Like, what the fuck was that doing out there? And why did it look identical to a fucking rock? Like,
Right.
that was so weird, dude.
That
And
is
that's
weird.
it's kind of like this. Maybe somebody else has another fucking rock styrofoam thing that we just don't talk about.
That's
Like
true. We
it's
should
a
look that
weird
up.
thing, dude.
Yeah, like a glitch in the matrix, you know what I mean? Like it's like you're not supposed to stumble upon that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
I,
crazy,
I I
man.
vividly remember putting my foot went through that bitch, and when I pulled it out, you know how styrofoam have those little bitty balls and shit that
Oh
like
yeah.
stick, like, and I was like, what the funny thing was, I had just watched the Truman Show probably a month before or something like that. So I like turn around, I'm like looking,
Yeah.
like,
You're like, good
is this
morning, good afternoon, and good night.
is this it? Has everybody been seeing me jack off? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm a little bit upset.
Right. That's funny, dude.
But dude, no, I mean it was about 4 or 5, and the way that they were set up was perfectly with the fucking actual rocks. It was
Yeah.
so strange, dude.
Yeah, and that's like one of those instances where you think about it the whole day and you're like, man, did that really happen?
I thought about that my whole life. Did that really happen? I don't even know. Like, what happened?
Yeah, dude, that's crazy, man. I have some stories like that. I won't get into it now. I want to save that for another time because I got some real interesting
Yes.
stories that have happened to myself personally as well. But we got a lot of segments and a lot of episodes we're gonna do on this, man. This is gonna be fun. Just by the 2 stories we've started off with, like this is gonna be a cool thing to be a part of, man. So I'm excited.
Yep, hell yeah, I'm ready to go with this. This is a lot of fun. I love
Fuck yeah.
the unknown.
Yeah, and it'll be, it might just be me and you for a few episodes. Chris is gonna join, you know what I mean? Adam might jump in once in a while. Like it's not just gonna be me and you, and we'll see if Chris has anything to bring to the table with these stories. He would be a great one to see how he reacts because because he just loves listening to stories. If you guys have watched some of our episodes already, like he
He'd be
loves.
so positive about
Oh yeah, and
everything.
he just loves loves listening to shit and listening to stories. So this is gonna be fun, man, and I'm excited. But we'll wrap that up now. Unwrapped. We'll wrap up Unwrapped.
What was our catch line? What was it?
Oh shit, we just said it at the beginning of the episode. We already forgot. Viewers beware.
You're in for a good scare. I can't remember.
We're not trademarking that. But yeah. So we're excited, man. This will be a cool segment. Get us off the trail of movies and stuff like that, and really dive into some real life shit. And it's all for good fun, man. It's all for just our fans and everybody who wants to hear something a little different. So I'm excited, man. And this is episode 1 down. Many more to come. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel to hear more of this. Make sure you guys comment below. Give us maybe some stories that you guys have encountered. If you guys want to DM us on Instagram, just at Check the Candy. Tell us a story. We'll talk about it on air. We got no problem doing that. We want to interact with you guys because you guys are showing so much love and everything like that. And just super excited for everything. And we're just getting started, man. So we'll see you guys later.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Latest word also from National Press Services in Washington, D.C.
We were damn lucky to get away at all.
It's not true.
Man, you're really crazy. You know that?
We're all in danger.
If I were surrounded by 6 or 8 of these things, would I stand a chance with them?
We've had enough of this nonsense.